What's up everyone, my name is Mike, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Rewind Collective Series 1 Part 2 drop that's going to be happening shortly with 8 new cards in the series. My game plan, my price predictions, let's get into this. So this follows suit of the previous drop of 2 cards, Cleopatra and Amelia Earhart, which we saw 999 editions of it. They get the first edition stamp on them, and they've been sitting pretty nicely in the market. Now with 8 more cards, I think we'll see them go slightly below those price ranges that we see with those 2 existing cards. And I'm just comparing that based on the golden moments, what we've seen with those as more golden moments have come onto the platform with the Valentine's Day drop as well as the Disney duos. We've seen that those drops have gone well below those initial drops of the golden moments. I do think that long term that this is going to level out, that we're not going to be so concerned, or new users coming into the platform are going to be less concerned about what were those initial golden moments drops versus what came afterwards. They will all be lumped in as Disney golden moments, and we'll see those drops that have come later rise up in prices to meet where they sit when comparing them just Disney golden moments to Disney golden moments. And I think these cards will follow suit, where they will be listed in the secondary market fairly low compared to those initial 2 cards, the Cleopatra and the Amelia Earhart, and eventually over time we will just forget or be less concerned, or more users will come onto the platform and just see that they are worth as much as those initial 2 drops. Additionally, that initial drop had the Givenchy or Givenchy collaboration with the Pride only single card, not those 2 other cards. You can see actually at the bottom it says Givenchy Pride collaboration with Rewind Collective, whereas the other 2 cards just say Rewind Collective on them. There's a lot of great information about Rewind Collective on the Medium article, and these are actually animated cards, so we'll see those characters on the cards being animated. Now when it comes to these 8 cards, they don't get the FE, the first edition stamp. We don't see that with them, which is kind of strange because these characters are the first in their series in these cards, and you'd think that they'd get the first edition stamp, and maybe that will be changed with the drop coming up. But for now, they don't get the first edition stamp, whereas the Cleopatra and the Amelia Earhart do. So perhaps that's going to devalue them slightly. And I wonder, with this being a second part of the same series, do you have to collect everything in that series, including this new drop, in order to get that one full set in your profile? That'll be interesting to note. And all of these get 999 editions, as well as the ultra rare rarity with them. And this is interesting because this adds scarcity to these people in history with a significant stories and achievements that need to be taken into factor when we are creating price predictions for them. As you can see, Cleopatra sits somewhere around 1.8 thousand gems in the market right now, whereas Amelia Earhart is somewhere around 1.4 thousand gems, both historically significant in their own ways, but perhaps because Cleopatra is more known for that name, that's what causes that 500 gem difference between the 2 of them in the market right now. So we also need to do that with these 8 new women coming onto the platform in these House of Cards form. We need to weigh not necessarily their historical significance, because that will be subjective depending on who you are, as well as their general popularity, which is a little bit less subjective, but you can still make an argument based on their general popularity. Now you can argue which collectible resonates with you more and the person on the card, but I don't think that you can quite argue general popularity, worldwide popularity, based on these people and their historical significance or their stories. So let's go through these really quick that are being dropped. Again, 999 editions for each, a list price of 90 gems. They all get the ultra rare, no first edition stamp on them. We've got Mulan, Joan of Arc, Elizabeth I, Pocahontas, Frida Kahlo, Anne Boleyn, Emmeline Parkhurst, and Harriet Tubman. So obviously historically significant characters in their own rights, but where do we think that they're going to end up in the marketplace after the drop? And remember, when I'm making these predictions, these are very short-term predictions, maybe hours, a day, maybe even up to a week after the drop, because we just don't know where this market's going to go long-term, even in the midterm, and even in the short-term, really. These are just price predictions based on what's already in the market, like I said with that Cleopatra and Amelia Earhart. So when it comes to ranking them in terms of popularity, again, I'm focusing on general popularity, and this could definitely be argumented against, but I have them in order as such. I've got Mulan, Pocahontas, Elizabeth I, Frida Kahlo, Joan of Arc, Harriet Tubman, Anne Boleyn, and then Emmeline Parkhurst. And you could argue against flipping some of those based on where you live in the world as well as their significance to you. But that's my list and what I think their popularity is in general. I can group those by saying Mulan and Pocahontas, Elizabeth I, Frida Kahlo, maybe Harriet Tubman, as well as Joan of Arc will be grouped together in that higher price range of where Cleopatra sits in the market long term. But the remaining Boleyn, Parkhurst, maybe Harriet Tubman will be grouped together with Amelia Earhart in terms of where they sit in the market afterwards for the long term. But in terms of the short term, I think Mulan, Pocahontas, and Elizabeth I will sit somewhere around 900 gems. Frida Kahlo will sit somewhere around 850. Joan of Arc somewhere around 800. Harriet Tubman at around 700. And Boleyn around 500, as well as Emmeline Parkhurst around that 500 range. And again, very short term, immediately after the drop, when things have actually settled down, all the collectibles have been delivered. And just to give you an example of these different people and their significance to other people and how that will play a role in terms of their popularity, so you may not agree with me on this list, I actually want to get the Frida Kahlo one on this list. I have visited Mexico City. I have been to where she lived with Diego Rivera and the significance behind the house that they lived in. It was an amazing tour, almost like a museum of her life. And so that person has a little bit more of a significance to me and to what I want. So looking at all these characters, even though I'm going to rate Frida Kahlo closer to that middle range in terms of popularity, when comparing all of these people, their historical significance and their general popularity, it's actually that one that I want to get on the drop if I could. And again, these are just my thoughts, my opinions. You can definitely disagree with them. Leave a comment below if you do disagree with me on any of these. I'd love to hear what you think and expand what I may think with these price predictions. This is not financial advice. These are my thoughts, my opinions. You do not have to agree with them, and you can leave your thoughts, your opinions in the comments section below. I'll respond to anybody and everybody. Like this video if you found it helpful for whatever reason, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more VV content. Thank you so much for watching.